You can look at it and go, okay, it looks like one of T-Maz's mix or one of Jimmy Douglas's mixes from when I was coming up. So it's sounding like that too. I'm sure it should be that way. Hi, I'm Darren Moore. I'm a longtime music production recording engineer. I've worked with many of the greats over here. We're here at the Log Cabin Studio at Manhattan Center, home of the world famous Hammerstein Ballroom. I always like to have a meter to refer to, a high-end one, and a real-time analyzer as well for mixing purposes. A phase correlation meter is also very good. I do a lot of recording. So when I'm setting up stereo microphones for like piano or drum overheads or like room and stuff like that, it's good to have that to tell you if everything's gonna collapse correctly and if we're gonna get the widest, prettiest sound of the piano and the drums. Clarity M is really, really cool. When you guys sent me the meter and I set it up and I plugged it into just the USB of a hub I had, and there was the glorious meters that I loved that used to be right there in the center section of these giant consoles, in a device that fit in the palm of my hand with a lot of added bells and whistles right there next to the screen that I'm working on was, to me, a no-brainer. Since I do music mostly, mixing and production, the real-time frequency analyzer is what I normally have it on. The radar is also cool too, so I can get an overall look of my loudness and where peaks are and how the arc of the song is going. Here there's a little loud warning, which you can set independently. I kind of looked into this thing, and it's important to watch that too because we like it loud. So I do want to tap that a bit when I'm mixing something, but judging between how loud I really am and if I have any peaks, then I know, okay, this is going to compete with other people's mixes on whatever the delivery format, but I'm not creating overs that all the other meters in the digital domain, the computer is not telling me about. You know, the Pro Tools meters, I won't call out any names, the meters in the computer are small, they're not as accurate, and sometimes there are overs that they're not going to tell you about. It doesn't tell you, it happens really quick. You push and mix up louder and louder, and you play it on your laptop, and you're noticing it's a little crunchy, and it's because you got some overs happening. And since having the Clarity M to work with and the true peak meters, being able to see, oh, I have like, half a dB before I'm really peaking, and actually be sure that it's half a dB when I'm looking at the screen and everything seems to be slapping the top and not overing, but I'm seeing that I'm actually a little too close to it. I should back something off, and it's really that sound there, watching how it hits, that's the one that's peaking. Is helpful. So it's very helpful. It's really cool that the Clarity M has specs for broadcast in America, broadcast in Europe, broadcast for Japan. I'd love to broadcast something in Japan one day, but it's good to have that preloaded. And then I mostly stay with the music specs that are preloaded, and I haven't had the chance to do something for a pure YouTube or a pure iTunes release, but it's good to know that when that comes up and that person tells me, hey D, I'm just gonna put this out as a promotional piece on YouTube, can you just tighten it up and throw a mastering on it, that I'm not mastering for a CD. I can look at my levels and my meters, and I know that, okay, when you send this to CD Baby or whoever else and it goes into the system to come out on YouTube as a YouTube release or an iTunes release, those are the guys that do that it's going to go through their system because they have their own QC and they're all their stuff that they run it through, and it's all automated, and it just kicks it back when it's not right. It improves my mix because, as I said, having the backup assurance of a quality meter to work with, the real-time frequency analyzer, shows me what's going on, and it improves my mix by showing me phase correlation, level, and everything else, and the different standards for the different regions is very important to us.